And the crazy part is, even with all the advancements in large language models, 90% of companies are still struggling to tailor them effectively for their specific needs.
90%? Seriously? That seems incredibly high. So all that investment in AI and most companies aren't really seeing the return?
Exactly. They're stuck using these powerful but generic models, and the results are, well, generic. It's like trying to win a Formula One race with a stock sedan. Sure, it'll move, but it won't win.
Okay, that makes sense. So we're talking about relevance and accuracy, right? The model can talk, but it doesn't understand the specific nuances of your business, your data, your customers.
Precisely. Imagine a customer service chatbot. If it's not properly tuned, it might give completely irrelevant or even incorrect answers, leading to frustrated customers and a loss of trust. Think about the early days of chatbots. Everyone hated them.
Right. And I bet a lot of that frustration stemmed from companies not understanding the difference between prompt engineering, fine-tuning, and RAG. They just slapped a model on their data and hoped for the best. So let's break it down, shall we? Where do we even begin?
Let's start with the simplest, prompt engineering. Think of it as whispering instructions to a genius. You're not changing the genius, you're just guiding their thinking.
Okay, I like that analogy. So it's all about crafting the perfect input to get the desired output. Like, answer this question as if you were a seasoned marketing executive with 20 years of experience.
Exactly. You're leveraging the model's existing knowledge and capabilities, but shaping its response through carefully designed prompts. Think of it like this. You're not teaching the model anything new. You're just unlocking its potential.
So what does a good prompt look like? Is it just about being verbose and detailed? Because I've seen some prompts that are practically novels.
Verbosity isn't always the key. It's about clarity, context, and constraints. You need to be specific about the task, provide relevant context, and set boundaries for the response. Think of it as giving the model a very clear mission.
Okay, clarity, context, constraints. Got it. Can you give me a real-world example?
Sure, think about Netflix. They use prompt engineering extensively to generate personalized recommendations. The prompt might include the user's viewing history, their ratings, and even information about the current time of day. Then they ask the model to suggest movies or shows that the user is likely to enjoy.
That makes sense. So they're not fine-tuning a model for each user. They're dynamically crafting prompts based on user data. But what if the model simply doesn't know about a specific niche movie that would be perfect for that user? Prompt engineering can't create knowledge, right?
Exactly. That's where RAG comes in. Retrieval-Augmented Generation is like giving the genius a textbook to consult before answering.
Ah, I see. So instead of relying solely on the model's pre-existing knowledge, you're providing it with external information relevant to the query.
Precisely. The retrieval part involves searching a knowledge base for relevant documents or passages. Then the augmented generation part involves feeding that information to the model along with the original prompt.
So the model can then use that retrieved information to generate a more informed and accurate response. It's like giving it the ability to look up the answer before speaking.
Exactly. This is huge for companies with large proprietary data sets. Imagine a legal firm using RAG to answer questions about case law. They can feed the model relevant legal documents, ensuring that its responses are accurate and up to date.
Okay, that makes sense. So RAG is great for accessing and leveraging external knowledge. But what about situations where you want to fundamentally change the model's behavior or teach it new skills? That's where fine-tuning comes in, right?
You nailed it. Fine-tuning is like sending the genius back to school. You're taking a pre-trained model and training it further on a specific dataset to adapt it to a specific task.
So you're actually modifying the model's weights and biases, making it more specialized. It's a much more involved process than prompt engineering or RAG.
Absolutely. Fine-tuning requires a significant amount of data and computational resources, but the results can be dramatic. Think about OpenAI fine-tuning models to create Instruct-GPT, which is much better at following instructions than the original GPT-3.
Right. So they took a general-purpose language model and fine-tuned it to be more helpful, harmless, and honest. But fine-tuning can be risky, right? You can overfit the model to the training data, making it perform poorly on new, unseen data.
That's a real concern. Overfitting is like teaching the genius to only answer questions about a specific chapter in the textbook. They become incredibly good at that one chapter, but useless for everything else.
So you need to be careful about the size and diversity of your fine-tuning dataset, and you also need to monitor the model's performance closely to avoid overfitting.
Exactly. And that's where the critical decision-making comes in, choosing the right tool for the job. Here's the thing most engineers get wrong. They think of these as mutually exclusive options. They're not. They're often complementary.
Oh, interesting. So you might use prompt engineering in conjunction with RAG, or even fine-tune a model and then use prompt engineering to further refine its behavior.
Precisely. Think of it as a toolkit. You have a hammer, a screwdriver, and a wrench. You wouldn't use a hammer to screw in a screw, would you?
Unless you really hate that screw.
Exactly. But you might use a screwdriver to tighten a screw after you've used a wrench to loosen it. The same principle applies to prompt engineering, RAG, and fine-tuning.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So it's about understanding the strengths and weaknesses of each technique and combining them strategically to achieve the desired outcome.
Exactly. And here's where it gets interesting. The choice often depends on the type of knowledge you're dealing with. Is it factual knowledge, procedural knowledge, or contextual knowledge?
Okay, unpack that for me. What's the difference?
Factual knowledge is like knowing that the capital of France is Paris. Procedural knowledge is like knowing how to ride a bike, and contextual knowledge is like understanding the nuances of a particular industry or culture.
So, RAG is best suited for factual knowledge since it can retrieve information from external sources. Fine-tuning is better for procedural knowledge since it can teach the model new skills. And prompt engineering is crucial for leveraging contextual knowledge since it allows you to guide the model's reasoning.
You are on fire. Consider Uber. They might use RAG to provide drivers with up-to-date information about traffic conditions and road closures. They might fine-tune a model to optimize ride pricing based on demand and supply, and they would definitely use prompt engineering to ensure that their chatbot is providing helpful and relevant customer support.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's not just about choosing the best technique, it's about choosing the right technique for the specific task and the type of knowledge involved.
Exactly. And here's another counterintuitive insight. Sometimes the best approach is to start with prompt engineering, even if you eventually plan to fine-tune the model.
Oh, interesting. Why is that?
Because prompt engineering can help you identify the areas where the model is struggling. It can help you pinpoint the specific prompts that are generating incorrect or irrelevant responses. This information can then be used to create a more effective fine-tuning dataset.
So, prompt engineering can act as a sort of diagnostic tool, helping you understand the model's limitations before you invest in fine-tuning.
Precisely. It's like doing a preliminary survey before building a house. You want to understand the terrain before you start laying the foundation.
Okay, that's a really valuable insight. So, what are some practical takeaways for software engineers listening to this conversation? What should they be doing differently after hearing this?
First, stop thinking of these as mutually exclusive options. Start thinking of them as complementary tools in a toolkit. Experiment with combining them to achieve the best results.
Second, before jumping into fine-tuning, spend some time on prompt engineering. Use it to understand the model's strengths and weaknesses, and to identify areas where fine-tuning could be most effective. Think of prompt engineering as your AI model's usability testing.
And third, always, always, always evaluate your results. Don't just assume that fine-tuning or RAG is automatically improving performance. Measure the impact on key metrics, such as accuracy, relevance, and customer satisfaction. Treat it like any other A/B test.
Great advice. So to recap, toolkit mindset, prompt engineering first, and rigorous evaluation.
That's it. And remember, choosing the right AI technique is like choosing the right ingredient for a recipe. Get it right, and you'll create a masterpiece. Get it wrong, and you'll end up with a culinary disaster.
This was fun, Parth.
Absolutely, Shrija.